Is a young child who is 2 years or 3 years throwing a lot of tantrums, whether at home or even in the public place. Maybe your child wants a toy and is crying and yelling, or maybe your child has seen, a gaming center or seen some gaming spot and your child wants to go and play there, or maybe you are going shopping and your child's seen a park, your child wants to go and play in the park, whatever it may be, your child is throwing huge tantrums, screaming his or her lungs out, and you don't know what, right? Sometimes what it happens that you are shouting at the child, beating the child, but that's just not helping. Hello, I'm Supriya Raja, and I am the founder of the Power Reading Hub. This video is dedicated for those parents who are trying to find a solution, a positive and a healthy solution, especially regarding their toddlers' tantrums. Now, when it comes to tantrums, there are three possible reasons why a child will show tantrums. The first reason is a child is asking for attention. Yes, because if the child feels kind of deprived or somewhere neglected, the child will throw a tantrum, even if it's to get a negative attention. Now, obviously, a child who is 2 years or 3 years will not be in a position to verbalize why, what he or she wants. So, because they don't have the capacity yet to verbalize very clearly their thoughts, it comes out in these emotions. It's all like pent up emotions in the mind, and it comes out. It just there's an outburst of emotions. So, the first point could be drawing attention. The second reason a child may throw tantrum is that he or she is probably hungry or sleepy. Yes, because again, when the child is hungry or sleepy, the child doesn't really know, verbalize so articulately that mommy, I'm feeling hungry, or daddy, I'm feeling sleepy, I want something to eat. Sometimes they just don't have it in them to express it so patiently. And it comes out in the form of huge, outbursts, emotional outbursts. And the third reason why a child may throw tantrum is that he or she feels that they can get away with certain things. Look, a child when he is or she is growing from that babyhood or infancy towards toddlerhood, the first thing that develops in child is a self-concept. Self-concept is I am now an individual. I'm separate from my mother and dad, which earlier didn't exist when they were babies or when they were like, that stage of infancy. They always saw themselves as part of their parents or caregivers. But when they are growing into this toddler age, they are now able to see themselves separate from mommy and daddy, and that their needs are also very important. They see that their needs are very, very important. So this stage is the stage when the self-concept develops. This stage is the stage when the child wants his or her need met the first more than anybody. You can't expect them to be all that empathetic at this stage because they're still developing, right? So these are some of the main reasons why a child might throw a huge tantrum. Now, what do we do as a parent if you're in the middle of maybe in a public place or at home and you are having an important work going on, and then this entire meltdown starts? The first thing you can do is be a little more proactive. That is, start connecting with your child, building a stronger bond with your child early on, like maybe doing activities with your child, playing with your child, reading stories to your child, because all these builds a kind of a warmth, a comfort in a sense of security in the child's mind. In fact, it's also proven that the hormone oxytocin, that is the connection hormone or the bonding hormone or the love hormone, gets released when you are staying close to your child and spending time with your child, right? And it also builds a trust. So when the trust builds, the element of resistance, the extent of resistance comes down in the child's mind. Now the child also sees his mommy or daddy or her mommy and or daddy as a partner, as someone who is very close, where he or she can feel very secure, right? So when the resistance comes down, the overall level of compliance or ability to listen to what you're saying also enhances, right? Because they're seeing you as someone who loves them, who cherishes them, and they're also able to understand you better, right? So when you are proactively beginning to develop connection or connecting or bonding with your child, the level of resistance comes down, and then you will start noticing that when the child is actually asking for something and you explain it to the child, there's a higher probability the child will listen, right? the meltdown may not really happen to the extent that otherwise it can happen. Now, the second thing that you can do, right, is to set boundaries. Now, when we're talking about boundaries, what do we say? Is to mentally prepare the child that, look, we are going to this place, or look, we are going to have guests come over, and this is what it's going to be, and this is what you are supposed to do. Instead of saying the side child, don't shout, don't throw a tantrum, just explain to them how they must behave, whether it's in public or whether it is at home. Now, you can also make it clear to the child by not just talking about how their behavior should be, but also by showing images. Because look, children are able to absorb what you're saying when you show images, right? Rather than when you say something. So if you can show images of, drawings or sketches of how a child is behaving in the public place, or how a child is behaving when people are around, it gives a clearer, picture in the child's mind as to what is expected behavior and what is not expected behavior. At least they will be very clear as to how they must behave in a particular situation. The third thing you can do, apart from connecting, which is actually very powerful, apart from proactively explaining to the child and setting clear boundaries beforehand, the third thing you can do is, if the meltdown still happens in spite of all this that you've done, you just have to ignore the child in that situation. Yes, because sometimes it just happens that they just don't get it, or they are just suddenly in the middle of that, that the entire emotions coming up. They just don't know what to do. They just don't know how to express that emotion, and they just go on full throttle. Best thing is either ignore, walk away, or if you're in a public place, pick up the child and just go. Yes, the child will be angry, the child will scream, the child will beat, but definitely it will help you a lot more in the long run. In fact, I will also cite an example from my own life when my son was 2.5 years. We had gone to this mall in Mumbai. I was with my father, and lo and behold, in the middle of the entire mall, my son saw a toy shop which had all his favorite toys, and he wanted a bus or a car. I don't remember exactly, but he wanted a toy. So when I said no, he went to my dad, and my dad was like, okay, ask mommy. And when he again came to me, I said, no, you already have got toy 2 days back, and you're not getting any more toy immediately. What he did was he just went to the center of that mall and he just lie down on the floor. That's it. He refused to budge. He refused to come. He was on the floor. My father got so embarrassed, and he was telling me, look, Supriya, he's creating a scene. Just pick him up. People are all watching us. Pick him up, and either you just pick him up and buy that toy, because look, people are watching. It's so embarrassing. What will people think? And I told my dad, look, if we do this, if we buy him now, we are sending a message to him that this behavior will work. So I don't care if people are watching. I don't care if, everybody, there's a lot of big audience here. My son's behavior has to be addressed. Certain things have been put in place, and I don't mind. So what I did was I just went and I picked him up and I walked out. He was screaming, he was beating me, he was crying, all that. And people were obviously looking at us as to what is this kid doing, and, why this mummy is doing, just taking him, not buying anything for him. Whatever was going on in their mind, they were all staring at us, but I didn't care. I just picked him up and I went. He was beating me. Guess what? After that incident, this particular behavior didn't again happen in the public space. So you know what? Here you're giving a very strong message of setting boundaries that, look, if you're going to be doing this, I'm not going to be listening to you. You're going to be ignored, and this behavior will not be rewarded. So when this behavior is not rewarded, they will stop it. Maybe they might repeat it again, but if you again consistently showcase your own stance, this will stop, right? So yes, if I hope this particular video is of value to you and you've got some golden nuggets here. And if you've got value, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and press the bell icon so that you get notified each time I'm posting a video. Well, I also have a Facebook group called the Power Reading Hub, where I'm sharing a lot of value regarding reading to your child, inspiring your child to become a power reader from a young age. So the description, in the description box will be the link. You can click on the link and join my Facebook group. So until my next video, happy parenting and happy reading. Bye-bye.